Hello everyone and welcome to Club Deck Corner. I am your host Scott Carney and I'm joined today by Ali Pearson. Ali, how's it going, mate?
Not too bad. Still recovering from last night and the events, obviously, which we'll come on to. But yeah, just hopefully the old firm gets out the system for us on Sunday.
Yeah, it's been a strange day, mate. I was just saying to you there just before we started recording, mate. I felt a bit down the day. I don't know if it's down to the kind of disappointment of going out of Europe, which is obviously a disappointment, and obviously the way that this whole absolute shambles has been handled by Slavia, not by Rangers. It's kind of hit me today. I'm not going to lie, I've really not felt myself. It's been strange and. It doesn't feel like an old firm weekend, not yet, mate. It certainly doesn't. It certainly doesn't feel like it's there yet for me, anyway. But we are obviously going to be previewing the old firm game coming up on Sunday. But as we've just spoke about, there is unfortunately only one place to start, and that's with the racial abuse that Glen Kamara was sadly victim to on Thursday night in the match against Slavia Prague. So if you bear with me, Ali, I'll get through everything that's kind of happened. I'll finish up by reading out Rangers' statement, and then we'll get into our feelings and our opinions regarding it all. So I'm sure everybody's obviously aware there was alleged racial abuse at Glen Kamara. I'm not going to repeat what was said. I don't think there's a need to, or what was allegedly said in inverted commas, if you like, but I don't think there's any need for me to repeat it. Slavia Prague have denied these claims, released a statement, which again I'll not give airtime to. It's pathetic and cowardly, and it's not really worth the paper that it's written on. But the main gist of it was that Rangers are liars and that we booted them off the park pretty much, and that the racial abuse claim is incorrect. I mean, it's unbelievable. We'll come to it though, as I said. So they also made claim that Kudela was assaulted and that it was reported to Police Scotland. Police Scotland have come out and denied anything was reported, which again shows them for the liars and cowards and racist that they are, and they're happy to be. Steven Gerrard in the press conference after the match was clearly upset. But he did manage to keep himself kind of composed throughout the presser and stated that he stands with Kamara 100% and he trusts him and his players with his life. Kamal Roof was also a victim to racial abuse on social media, which he shared and kind of for everybody to see, really, and backs up Gerrard's comments that it starts from the source and then grows. This thing grows arms and legs, and once one person seemed to think it's acceptable, it kind of grows from that, which is really, really sad to see. Some of the comments for Kamal Roof again was, I mean, ridiculous. It really is. It's moronic. There's nothing really much I can really get into it, but I'm going to try my hardest as well during this not to go off on a pure rant about it all, because I'm very disappointed in it all. Rangers obviously have responded. Rangers managing director Stuart Robertson released a club statement, which I will read out before we discuss our own opinions on this. So Stuart Robertson said, "Racism is unacceptable in any form and in any setting. The racist abuse suffered by Glen Kamara will not be tolerated by Rangers. As a club, we stand resolutely behind Glen and we support him and his teammates. We stand behind each and every one of our players, regardless of race, religion, colour or creed. If you wear the famous blue of Rangers FC, you are one of our own. Everyone, anyone." Several of our players have subsequently received racist, threatening and sickening abuse online. This is abhorrent and once again highlights the responsibility social media outlets have in eradicating abuse from faceless cowards. We refuse to acknowledge any attempt to defend, deflect or deny the abuse Glen Kamara experienced last night. Our manager Steven Gerrard has already underlined his own disgust at the incident and support for our players. We can confirm that Steven, our chairman Douglas Park, sporting director Ross Wilson and I met last night to agree our club's stance. We have also met with UEFA representatives. This incident has been reported to UEFA match delegate and we understand that it's formed part of the match report. UEFA will now be aware the football world will be well aware, that the football world is watching. We expect a robust and unequivocal response in relation to this incident. It cannot be merely swept under the carpet. We are not prepared to let Glen Kamara be yet another statistic. Enough is enough. We note the injury sustained by Kolar during an accidental collision last night. A club doctor treated the player and we hope he has a speedy recovery. We wish the club well in the next round of Europa League. There will be no further comment until we receive a response from UEFA. So I've spoken for quite a bit there, Ali. This kind of wraps up the majority of kind of what's been going on. So what's your kind of first thoughts, your reactions and your feelings towards all of this, or kind of after all of this?
It's a bit of a joke, to be honest. I mean, last night after we did the pod, I listened to Gerrard afterwards. He didn't even talk about the game, didn't want to talk about the game. As he said, this is bigger than football, this problem. It's a massive problem. Yeah, it was disgusting. Last night when Slavia Prague, or this morning, whatever it was, when they released their statement in terms of basically we didn't do it, the player didn't back their player, he didn't do anything wrong, this happened to our player, he was attacked by Glen. I mean, come on. Glen Kamara in our team, along with, I think I said Joe Aribo last night, they're the most placid, nicest guys you'll probably meet. Yeah, they're on a football park, they're great players in the football park, but they're just nice guys. You know they're nice guys. Steven Gerrard referred to Kamara last night. He's like one of his children. He would trust him 100% with what he said. He would back him to the hill, and so is every single Rangers fan at the moment. And I hope everyone in Scotland as well gets behind him too, because he's one of the nicest guys in that Rangers team. He's not got a bad mark in his name for anything, and I 100% agree with Glen Kamara. Why would he lie? I mean, you watched the replay last night. In fact, if you actually watch the one from Rangers TV, because the sound's down on it, you can pick up kind of what's happening. There's the foul. Glen Kamara's standing on his own, minding his own business, waiting to get on with the game, and that guy deliberately goes to Kamara and obviously shields what he's saying to him. Apparently, Slavia have come out and go, "Oh no, that's what he does when he talks to players on the park." Come on, are we all that bloody stupid? I thought it was short. I thought it was disgusting. I mean, we'll come on to the press conference in terms of Goldson and stuff, but they've had previous, this club, when you look back, Lukaku, they have had previous. I thought it was shocking. The problem now with, obviously, it's down to UEFA. We all know nothing's going to come from it. I'm pretty sure nothing will come from it. And the major problem is it can't be proved, because it's one guy's word against another guy's word. And as much as we all say Glen Kamara, 100% agree with him, and we do 100% agree with him, it'll go to UEFA, and it's his word against another guy's word, and they can't prove it. They can't prove it, and just on one person's say, unfortunately, and it'll get swept under the carpet. And I mean, they're taking the knee for Black lives at the moment in terms of racism at the moment, and as kind of Connor Goldson kind of referred later in the press conference, it's like a token gesture at the moment they're doing it for. Nothing's happening, and it's going to continue to happen until they seriously hammer somebody, and they'll need to do it. And I think it'll get swept under the carpet if I'm being really honest.
That's the sad part about it, mate, is that it's one word against another, even though there's many voices against pretty much a club just now. There is no way Glen Kamara's going to make this up. I mean, I've seen all the kind of different views on it, the different angles of the video. I've seen the Rangers TV one. You can hear Zungu turn round and shout at the bench what the guy said. You see Connor's reaction when Kamara's obviously been separated. He's got his back to the camera. The fourth official's in front of him. Connor goes and comes over to him, blatantly asks him, what did he say to you? As soon as he tells him, Goldson literally snaps and he chases after the guy. He literally runs after the guy. Do I believe Glen Kamara is a guy that's going to make stuff up? I don't think so. It's not him. It's not his nature.
And also, do you believe Glen Kamara is a guy that would attack somebody after a game as well? I mean,
no. It's nonsense, mate, and it's so sad, and it's part of the problem is the fact that this club are taking the stance of, well, you can't prove it, so we are innocent. It's so disgusting and it's so disappointing, and it's bothered me today. It really has, and I feel so bad that the club are having to go through. Feel so bad that Kamara's having to go through this. I mean, Gerrard spoke that he was after the game as well, that he's in the worst place that he could be. A guy like Glen Kamara, for his nature, for his footballing ability, for everything, does not deserve to have to go through something as stupid as this, because a racist feels the need to have a wee cheeky dig for the colour of a person's skin. horrible. It's disgusting. It's hard. I've tried a few times, mate, to try and write some sort of tweet or some sort of Facebook post to try and put into words how I feel about it, and I can't do it because it's just so sickening. It's so disappointing, and I think I am getting more annoyed because I'm seeing the stance that Slavia are taking on it, and it hurts because you're right, mate. It's probably going to get swept under the carpet, and UEFA can stand and run as many anti-racism campaigns as they want to run. But if you're not going to action something like this on the sheer number of people that took offence to this last night, and I have seen there's a lot of people within Scotland, Scottish football, people from the other side of the city as well, mate. They've come out and said that this is not on. It's not. Nobody should be suffering this, and I'm so proud of the way Rangers have responded to it, and Rangers are doing the right thing, and we cannot let this lie. This will not disappear, and Rangers should not let it disappear. UEFA, even if they come back and say they're not going to do anything, Rangers should take it as far as they possibly can. I don't know where they go after that, but there's no way that we should just be sitting back and accepting these animals of the game to bring stuff like this onto a football field, and there's no place for it in the world, mate. But I mean, on a football pitch, these guys are 2-0 up, mate. We've got 9 men. We're not going to get back into this game. He breaks his way through, cowardly covers his hands and says that comment, and he knows straight away that he's done something wrong. Even when Gerrard was walking off the pitch last night, he wouldn't even look Gerrard in the eye because he's probably thought, Steven Gerrard gets a hold of me, he's probably going to kill me. It's just moronic, mate, and the claim of assault, again, is just pathetic and cowardly, and as I say, mate, I could go on and on and on about it, and I just hope that the powers that be decide to action and do something about it. Now, I've had my own opinions on what I think should happen, and I think UEFA should be, if they're going to do anything here, they need to do a big action. They can't beat around the bush with this. In my personal opinion, that guy's a racist. We are all in the same agreement that guy made a racial remark. I would ban him from the game for the rest of his life. He's not allowed to be a professional footballer anymore, and I would ban Slavia Prague from the competition. I'm not saying Rangers deserve to be in that competition because we don't. We get beat off the better team over 2 legs. We don't deserve to be in that competition. But Arsenal, I think they got one to Arsenal in the draw they got. So they should get a bye to the semis, in my opinion. That should be they have to do something. They have to make a stand and show that if you do this, you don't affect just yourself. You affect your club, you people that you're representing. And it's so sad that the club have came out, the Slavia have came out and acted like this. It's sickening. It really, really is sickening. And then obviously later on, mate, we're witness to what happened to Kamara Roof on social media again from supposedly Czech Slavia Prague, Czech Slavia Prague fans, pictures, emojis, and all the kind of emojis that you can possibly imagine. I don't want to repeat it because it's disgusting. But if UEFA are going to do anything, mate, what should they do?
As I said, it's difficult. It's difficult because they can't prove it, and it's like a court of law. If you can't prove it, you're sort of innocent till found guilty, if you know what I mean, in terms of they can't prove it unless the bloody mic the players up from now on so they can prove it. It's hard because I mean, I 100% agree. I 100% believe Glen Kamara. So this guy is a racist. So to me, the book should be thrown at him. He should be banned for football, probably indefinitely, or a major. I don't know whether you throw the team out because that. His team don't deserve to be thrown out on the back of him saying something. I don't agree they should be thrown out on the back of one of their players. I don't agree Slavia Prague coming out backing him at the hell with all this. I don't agree with some of the stuff Slavia Prague said last night in terms of the way Rangers played football, the way we assaulted them in the park in terms of chat. I thought, what game were they watching? Because the Kamara Roof one was an accident. We all know it was an accident. It was horrible, but it was an accident. The rest of the game, tell me a dirty challenge a Rangers player put in. None. Tell me a challenge their players put in constantly throughout the game. So where that's come from, again, sour grapes. Slavia Prague over the 2 legs were the best team. End of. The best team. And they should have went away for that, proud of themselves that they've knocked Leicester out and they've knocked Rangers out as well. But no, this one guy spoiled it for him. And yeah, I mean, obviously we believe Glen Kamara, so the guy is arrested. So to me, the book should be thrown at him. And until they do it against a player, nothing's going to ever change. It won't change. It'll just be the same.
Yeah, and sorry to spoil your press conference bit coming up, mate, but there was a bit that Connor Goldson said today in his press conference that people get fined more for having advertising on their boxer shorts, never mind being racist. I mean, there's a problem there, and there's a problem with the way UEFA are dealing with it, and I think we can all agree on that. I understand what you're saying about the club not being punished, mate, but if an investigation is to happen and he is found guilty, I would then punish the club because they've come out and backed this guy to the house. They've doubled down on him. They are like, no, he's innocent. We are the bad ones. We are the victims here. We've been beat up, which is bollocks. They haven't been beat up. So yeah, I mean, it's one that's going to roll on, mate, and I just hope that the club don't let it go anyway. The club don't let it just fester. I know Rangers have. No, I don't mean fester. I mean kind of fade away, because I don't. The club have obviously said they're not going to make further comment on it, which was evident today in Gerrard's press conference. But we can't just leave it and then a month later nothing's been done about it, because UEFA will want this to go away. They don't want anything to do with this. They don't want to get involved in this because they know what it leads to and what it could lead to. So we could do a whole show on it, mate. Obviously we're here to preview the Celtic game as well, so I don't want to spend the whole show on it, but I think it was just important that we have our say on it, and me and Ali are both in a total agreement that we stand behind Glen Kamara, we stand behind Kmart Roof, and we stand with the club. So UEFA, it's over to you. You have to action this, you have to do something, because this cowardly, pathetic, disgusting behaviour cannot continue. It's just not on. So Ali, no real easy way to transition, mate, but we'll give it a go. It's Old Firm weekend. Rangers travel to Parkhead for the second most important game of the week, and obviously for the third game, the third Old Firm game of the season. Press conference day was today. It was a very short one from Gerrard, but Connor Goldson obviously had a lot more to say. Ali, do you want to take us through the kind of main points from it?
Yeah, obviously Gerrard was first up. Probably the shortest press conference I've seen him do it. It was 5 minutes, to be honest. And especially an Old Firm game. Usually an Old Firm game, it's about 12 to 14 minutes, I would say. But I have short one. He looked like Goldson. He kind of looked a bit deflated, to be honest. But it's probably like the rest of us are all feeling a wee. It's like you said, it's a kind of weird feeling at the moment. I don't think it's the result, really. I just think it's how it happened last night at the end and what happened. I don't think it's the result, because I think a lot of Rangers fans are really proud of the team in terms of what we've achieved this season in Europe. So I don't think it's the result. But no, he was asked about the Slavia statement, obviously. And he basically said what he had to say in that last night. He said it's a matter for UEFA. Doesn't want to comment any further. It's above basically his pay grade. We've released a statement, and that's down to UEFA now, basically. So that's what he said. On Kamara, he basically said he spoke to him last night. He was visibly upset, obviously. He's got a meeting with him basically after the press conference, so you'll sit down and speak to him for 20, 30 minutes and see how he is. They obviously asked him then, will Kamara play on Sunday? And I hope he does. He says he'll talk to him first before he makes a decision. And that'll be extremely sad if Glen Kamara can't play on Sunday because of this. That's shocking. A guy can't play a game of football because that's happened to him and he's not in the right headspace. I think Glen Kamara is quite a strong character. I expect Glen Kamara to be in a part on Sunday. He touched on that. Team news and about the Old Firm obviously coming up. He said we shouldn't need any motivation for an Old Firm. It kind of is what it is, to be honest. An Old Firm, you don't need motivation for it. As Connor Goldson, it's probably the best game to have after something like that. The only, in terms of injuries, we were fine. We were fine. The only one he did say was a slight doubt was Nathan Patterson. He took a heavy knock apparently, but reading between the lines, I think he'll be all right, Patterson, to be fair. And yeah, what else did he say? Davey Edgar also from Heart and Hand asked about sort of, do they have any kind of targets, as in the game on Sunday is a bit of a glorified friendly, if you want to call it, basically, in terms of we're not really playing for it. We're not playing for it, which is weird for us going into an Old Firm in terms of
very
it
strange.
doesn't mean anything. So I don't know if I'll get that right fucking nerves. I guess
you will.
Well,
it'll come. Wait till tomorrow night, mate. It'll come.
It will, but it might. It's actually going to be quite good to sit back and if we get if they did beat us, for instance, that doesn't really affect us, to be honest, does it?
It's a hollow victory, mate. It would be a hollow victory.
That's all it is. But he says, they've got their own internal targets. So obviously, we want to keep the unbeaten run going. But he wants the standards and the hunger is to stay high as it's been. He doesn't want it to drop. But the priority now is shifted to the Scottish Cup since we've been knocked out of Europe. So that's our main priority. But that was all for Gerrard, basically, today. It was short and sweet, to be honest.
It was short and sweet, mate. I was a bit shocked at that myself when I seen it, mate. Even before the video started playing, I watched it on the Rangers YouTube channel, obviously, and I was like, 5 minutes? I was like, is that it? I thought it would be more. I did expect him not to make much comment, mate, because the club had just released that statement just before the press conference happened, so I'm not surprised at that. And in terms of Patterson, I think it was just a knock. Hopefully he'll be okay. And yeah, I suppose he's right. The next focus is on to the Scottish Cup. But I think this could be a good game for the team to go into on Sunday. It'll kind of put fire back in their belly and hopefully give them the opportunity to get all the emotion of Thursday night out their system. So Connor was next, and he certainly had a wee bit more to say than Gerrard did.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they try to get it out of Gerrard, but Gerrard doesn't give them that. He just told them at the beginning that was here to talk about the game. But no, Goldson, he talked about it, obviously. They asked his take in last night in terms of the Slavia statement and stuff. He said he felt anger more than anything. In fact, not that press conference, but there's the kind of longer press conference. You get snippets in Twitter and stuff. He did say he'd never felt that kind of anger in a football park in terms he wanted to go out and hurt somebody, which he's never felt in his life. Yeah. He actually wanted to physically hurt somebody. And he said, in terms of he shouldn't really feel that in a football park, but he was proud that the team rallied round and stuck together in terms of after the game as well, when you had Douglas Park was there, Gerrard, they were all there. So he was proud about that. Basically, they asked him on what the Slavia statement said. Allegedly said, they said to Goldson, and he said it wasn't allegedly said, it was said. He believes Glen Kamara 100%. He said he was disgusted with what they said. He says, I know what Glen is like. And he believes him 100%, basically. So he was, and on racism, we touched on it earlier on, he says it'll never be eradicated. Basically, when they're taking the knee at the moment, he basically said it's a token gesture, as we said earlier on, from the higher powers. Obviously, when the boys were back in the dressing room looking on their phones, obviously we've touched on Kamara Roof being abused. I mean, they screenshotted, I think it was 5 screenshots, and it was all, as you say, emojis and everything else. And you see that from other players when this happens. Sterling's a good example down at Man City. He got it heavily, and then after it gets pounded on social media. So, it doesn't surprise me, which is a bad thing in this day and age, to be honest, to be not surprised by something like that. And we touched on social media with Walter Smith a couple of pods ago, and it's the same kind of thing. It's horrible social media at times. And then also they came on to the game on Sunday. He basically said, it's a perfect game after last night. He said it was an honour to be captain, to lead the team out as champions to Parkhead, but he would rather Tav was leading the team out. He was in the team. But he says they need to go there and kind of stamp their authority on the fixture, but they can't go with the wrong attitude. They can't go with a swagger, because they need to show a bit of respect to Celtic. They can't just go there and think they can turn up and win the game. They need to earn to win the game. And in the mindset the players, as he touched on previously, I said we don't need the motivation for Sunday. It takes care of itself, basically. And as of in last night, he said there was a lot of emotion today in training. But I thought they just need to focus on a game on Sunday now, as much as it's.
Again, I think it's understandable from him. I really do get it, but what a feeling they're going to have when they travel to Parkhead on Sunday, mate, that they're rolling in there as champions, and Big Connor gets to lead the team out onto the park as champions of Scotland once again, and it'll be a great feeling for them. And I'd imagine that's every motivation that they probably need. I think we would all like to have to be there as well. But I think. I think Rangers will be okay. I generally do. I think it's going to be one of them things that they will just show their professionalism and show why they are fit enough to represent our club, and I expect them to bounce back from it. But I wasn't expecting an easy watch today in the press conference, to be honest. I knew it was going to be quite a difficult one, but you've got to admire Connor Goldson, you really do. He's a proper leader. He's a proper rock of a man, and yeah, I'm very proud to have him leading us out to Parkhead on Sunday. So we'll move on to what we think is going to happen within the game. Now, this could go anyway. I mean, honestly, it could go absolutely anyway. As kind of every Old Firm tends to be. They're obviously going through their own troubles just now. Kind of managerless. Well, they've got a manager, but I don't know if you can technically class him as a manager. And obviously their results have been very, very mixed, and their performances have been even more mixed than that. So, what are you expecting? Well, I mean, it's hard. It's always hard to predict an Old Firm, but I think this one's maybe particularly difficult.
It's hard. It is hard to judge. They've not kicked a ball for 2 weeks, Celtic. Is that an advantage? Is it a disadvantage? I personally would rather be playing football in between. I think Rangers play better when they've got Thursday, Sunday. Yeah, we've won the previous 3 Old Firms. The last Old Firm at Ibrox, Celtic felt hard done by. And yeah, the first half they played really well, Celtic. I'll give them some sort of credit. They probably should have got something out of that game, if not won the game, if it wasn't for Beaton ruining it for them. So they'll feel hard done by. They'll want to beat Rangers. They'll want to take our unbeaten run away. It'll give them some sort of momentum. I mean, they've still got a Scottish Cup to play for this season along with us. They could potentially play us in that as well. So, yeah, I'll know after 10 minutes of watching that game where it's going to go. I think you always get a wee feeling after 10 minutes where it's going to go.
You say the same thing every game.
It's true. After 10 minutes last night, I knew it wasn't going to work for us. But
every game, I'm like, all right, after 10 minutes. No, I know exactly what you mean. No, mate, to be honest with you,
I just don't know how they're going to turn up, Rangers, after last night. I don't know. Last night I thought they'd have right fire in their belly coming because of the way it happened last night. But just watching them in the press conference today, that they seemed down a wee bit. I just hope they come out and play the way we can play. Because if we play the way we can play, we should beat Celtic. I mean, I've seen a lot of Celtic games this season because obviously them dropping points helped us towards winning. So I have watched a lot of their games. I watched them. I know you did against Dundee United. They battered Dundee United, to be fair, for the first 70 minutes. How they didn't score was beyond me. I wouldn't say the goalkeeper had outstanding saves. He had a couple, but they missed so many chances, Celtic. And then after 20 minutes, kind of blew themselves out. And Dundee United actually could have maybe nicked that game, to be honest. But yeah, it's hard to judge. Laws of averages, you would say Celtic are probably due to beat us at one point. So
you always say that as well. You always bloody say that as well.
Just saying.
You're right though. I think if Rangers play the way Rangers can play and have shown our best this season, I genuinely think we win that game quite comfortably. Honestly, I do. I don't think Celtic would be able to cope with that. There's not much left in the tank for them in regards to this season. They've never really got going at all, so I don't expect it really to happen now. But it is one of them ones that we're going to need to wait and see what the reaction is, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, even starting to talk about it now, mate, I'm getting a wee bit of the battle fever. I can feel it starting from my stomach because I'm thinking about the Old Firm. So yeah, I suppose it's what an interesting game always is, an Old Firm. But I still think I still got confidence in Rangers to get the job done. I really do. Would I take a draw? Yeah, probably would take a draw. No, that's fine. It doesn't really bother. I would quite like to keep the unbeaten thing going, but in all honesty, I think Rangers will get the result. I think we will. If we play the way, as I said, if we play the way we all know the Rangers can play, I think we do win that, and I think we win it pretty comfortably. So, starting 11s, mate. Well, we've all three of us have picked the same team. It saves a bit of time instead of reading all three teams out. So we've all went for McGregor, Patterson, Goldson, Hollander, Barisic, Davis, Kamara, Aribo, Kent, Hadji, and Morelos. I'd say that's the three of us that have picked that teammate. So it's probably not going to be that team.
Well, I was going to say on it, I picked that team as well, and obviously Scotia sent us this team, which was that too. But I wouldn't be surprised if Scott Wright plays in that top three. And the only reason I say that is because when he played for Aberdeen against Celtic, he tormented them. I remember watching that game and he tormented them. So I think Hadji deserves to start, because when he came on against Celtic in the January game, he turned the game for us. So I think he deserves to start. But I wouldn't be shocked if I seen Scott Wright there with a Kent, Morelos, Scott Wright. I think that would be quite a frightening front three in terms of pace and power. You've got Morelos with the power and you've got the pace and the wings, because the way Celtic play, if they've got what's his chops, Laxalt going up and down that wing, and they've got John Joe, whatever his name is, going down the other wing. I
always say John Joe Shelby, but it's John Joe Kennedy, isn't it?
So I think God knows who it is, but Ryan Kent should have a field day against him. But I just think we could get a lot of joy in behind them. What we didn't do in the first that last game against Celtic was, I mean, the first time we did it is when Beaton gets sent off, was play the ball just over the top, got them turned, and I think we could get joy. I really think we could get joy, because they'll play that diamond again. I fully expect them to play pretty much the same formation they played against January against us. I expect the same, but I think we could get a lot of joy down their sides. I really do.
It's a good shout, that, to be honest, mate. I can see your logic behind that with Wright playing. I think Hadji would be kind of feel hard done by, but in terms of freshness as well, I mean, Wright's not played a lot of football, so he's probably raring to go. I say the reports we seen that he'd put on 4 kilo of muscle or something like that since he started his regime at Rangers. So, yeah, it's a good shout, that, mate. It'll be interesting to see the team, but obviously we all went for the same one. So, score predictions, Ali. What was Scott? What did Scott send us?
Scotia's was 3-1 Rangers.
3-1. What are you going for?
I'm going for a Rangers win, but I'm going for a tight Rangers win. I'm going to go 2-1 to Rangers.
I'm going to go 2-0 to Rangers. So that's good. We've all went something different, but I'll go 2-0 to Rangers. I think
Morelos will score as well. Sorry.
I hope so, man. I'm feeling desperate for the wee man to score. I really am. So he can do his wee celebration, mate. I really hope he does get a goal. So yeah, that'll pretty much do us for today. Shorter one than usual, obviously. But it's 3 days in a row we've been with you. So, Ali, I thank you very much for your time today, mate. Not the most easy of pods to start off with, of course, but we'll get the battle fever building over the next day or so, mate, and I'm sure we'll be ready to go on Sunday.
Yeah, no, I look forward to getting back into it, and we'll see what happens on Sunday.
Yeah, so as always, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like our videos, give us a wee 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, leave a comment and share anywhere that you can. It really does make a huge difference and really does help support us. Thank you all for taking the time to listen. Just a one wee thing before I finish is we as Rangers fans, we show our true colours when one of our own is attacked. I'm proud to be part of this family. I'm proud of our reaction that we've shown towards what one of our own was victim to on Thursday night. And it's a privilege for us to be able to sit and talk to you and for you all to listen to us discussing Rangers. Some things are bigger than football, as Gerard said. There is no doubt what happened last night is bigger than football. But the players have a chance to go out and do their talking on the park and show that the actions of others will not deter us from our glory. So we are going to Parkhead as champions. I have every faith in this team to put cowardly, pathetic actions of Slavia behind them, and if anything, maybe channel it to go out there and show why we are the champions, why we are Scotland's premier club and show why we are and why we always will be the people. We stand with you, Glen Kamara. We stand with you, Kamara Roof. And we stand with you, Glasgow Rangers. So, Rangers, go out and do the business. Go show them why we are champions. We'll be back with you on Sunday. We'll do a club reaction after the Old Firm game. Let's go, Rangers. Let's go out and show the world why we are the champions of Scotland. We are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast, and we will speak to you all next time. Cheers.